Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to do a little interview with my homie here, Houston.
It's not my name anymore. That guy's dead.
Oh,
That guy died.
Auguston.
We go by Auguston now. Yeah.
Auguston, yeah.
Strictly Auguston.
So yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. We're similar-minded people. You know, we got things going on. We got side projects. We're out here in Thailand together.
Yep.
So
It's kind of crazy, actually.
yeah,
This is one of those moments. Like, remember, one of the things you said to me over like the course of our friendship is like, yo, all like the random crazy nights I've had somehow it's just together.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
from when you first started going out, like before you were social and shit like that.
yeah,
You were like, oh, all my first like crazy this, crazy that. It was like we were together, and now somehow we're here together
yeah.
in Thailand.
I think I remember it was like before COVID, like I only knew you for a span of like 2 years,
Yeah.
and like in those 2 years we did like so much like random crazy shit together.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like we were hanging out that often. It's just like when we happened to be doing the crazy shit,
Yeah,
it just happened to be together.
yeah,
And then now we're here in Thailand with more
Yeah.
crazy shit. So
yeah.
what do you want to talk about?
So, anyways, we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Okay.
A lot of potential topics, but let's just continue where we left off, like with last time,
Okay.
when we were just eating food. So, like,
Okay.
yeah. So relationships. So, like, especially for young men like us who are like really ambitious, you know, who have a lot of like really high goals, probably like higher than most other people. Other people probably can't even like conceive a lot of the ideas that we have.
Okay.
They can't, you know, dream of the things that we're trying to do.
Okay.
So, in terms of relationships, let's list some of the. As by the way, you're engaged.
I'm
right?
engaged. Yeah, I am engaged. Yeah.
So yeah, as an engaged guy, so like
Yeah.
what is your overall take on relationships, and like what would you say are like some of the biggest positives and like some of the biggest negatives when it comes to these kind of things?
Okay, this is a super loaded question, so I'm gonna try to I'll try to go through each of the separate things because it's not just a simple answer, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
So,
move this back.
what do I think of relationships? I think first and foremost, I'll say relationships are a good thing,
Yeah.
but they can also be the worst possible thing ever. So you need to figure out when you should and should not be in a relationship. So I think the foundation of like deciding whether or not you're like at a point in your life where you're ready to be in a relationship is asking yourself what type of man you're trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I break down that category of what type of man you're trying to be into two very simple categories, because that's like also another loaded question. Like, what type of man do you want to be? You could say 10 trillion things, but I like boil it down into two very like simple categories.
Mm-hmm.
You're either someone who wants to do something original or someone who wants to like follow the herd and like do things that are already like pre-existing, like work a job for someone, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying one is necessarily better or worse than the other, because there's complete merit in just like chilling and like working a job. That's totally fine. But I think if you identify as the type of man that wants to do something original, you need to be very careful with who you enter relationships with, and if you're going to be entering a relationship with
Mm-hmm.
at all. So that's a completely loaded topic. So first, let me start with the other side of it, where say you're just a chill guy, like you don't really care too much about like doing anything super meaningful with your life. You just want to work a job. Honestly, my advice to you is find a girl that you just don't think is gonna fuck you over long term. That's literally the only like criteria. Otherwise, I don't think it really matters that much
Yeah.
for a guy like that. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
'cause
life's relatively the same throughout. Like.
yeah, exactly. Like if you're just gonna fuck around and do whatever, like the relationship's not gonna impact your life that much. Whether it succeeds or fails, like it's not honestly gonna impact you
Yeah.
that much, like in the grand scheme of things. So if you're that guy, don't worry about it. Just honestly fuck around, have your relationship. I would say just when you're picking a girl, pick a girl that you're very confident is not going to fuck you over in the long term. That's like the main criteria, I would say. But now the more interesting side of it would be for someone who's more interested in like going about life in their own way. And I think there's only one reason. Actually, let me back up. I think you should not. Let me go from the instead of when you want to be in a relationship versus when you should not want to be in a relationship.
Especially for like younger guys like us, you know, we're really ambitious, but like for example, we don't have a lot of success right now. We don't have a lot of stuff to our assets to our name, so like we have.
You have very little. You honestly,
it's gonna take a long time for us to be where we want to be. So it's gonna take like a lot of work, a lot of effort.
You have very little value right now to offer to a woman, but long term you will have more value than most people to offer to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So like a guy, for example, who just works a job right now has more money than you right now.
Mm-hmm.
He can do more things. He can go have a wedding with his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now, he can afford. Yeah, like he can get a mortgage, do shit like that, like because he has a job and an income, and that's a good thing, right? Supposedly.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing that, then you need to be very careful because, anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So this is how you should know to not be in a relationship if you're one of those guys. If the girl you're interested in is not willing to commit to you now, then you should not be with her. You shouldn't chase her, you shouldn't pursue her, you shouldn't put any interest in her. So if there's a girl you're interested in and she's not willing to commit to you now, even though you have nothing, completely forget about her. Like, don't invest any energy in girls that are not willing to commit to you. Because the reality is, what you do need to find is a girl that sees your potential success long term and is willing to support you along the way in becoming that person. And that means like her making massive sacrifices, honestly. So like if you are in the situation and you do find a girl like this, you need to like be super appreciative of them because they're basically accepting like a shitty life for the next 4, 5, 6 years compared to like some other random guy they could be with that does have a job and like all this regular shit.
Right.
So you need to understand like you're a less valuable version than you're gonna be, and you're giving them like a less good life in the short term, and they're willing to sacrifice through that with you.
Oh, okay.
That's the type of girl you want to be with.
Yeah.
So if it's not that, completely forget about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my main thing. If they're not willing to like see your potential value in the future, completely forget about it. Okay, now the second reason you should not be with a girl is if you yourself, you need to like, if you're this type of guy and you really want to be like ambitious and you want to do your own thing, you need to be incredibly self-reflective. Like all onus needs to be on you in everything, like relationships, your business, like whatever it is you're doing, all accountability is on you. So if you can't look in the mirror and go, I'm the right guy for the girl I want, don't pursue women. You need to be confident enough in yourself and feel you offer enough, whether it's now or long term or like the trajectory you see yourself on, to support the type of woman you want.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all about the woman you want. Like, I'm not talking about like some random girl that's hot that you want to fuck. Like, that's irrelevant. Like, that's a whole different conversation, whether you should or shouldn't be doing that. But in terms of pursuing serious relationships, you need to like really be self-reflective and think, am I good enough yet? Or do I think I'm on the track to become good enough to get the girl I actually want?
Yeah, yeah. That's because like that's interesting because like usually I feel like when we try to like or like when people like me try to like tell other people like, oh, this is why I don't have a relationship. I always get asked like, you know, why didn't you have a girlfriend, stuff like that. You know, it's just like you make it. If I say like I don't want a girlfriend or like something like that, it makes it sound like really selfish, like really.
Right. It's like the girl's not good enough for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I haven't met the right girl.
Yeah, but like when you say it like that, it's like okay, like, actually I don't. It's selfish of me. Like I don't have enough value.
Exactly.
Yet. I don't have enough value yet to like, you know, provide to this girl. You know, so it's like it's unfair for me to like. You know, go after a girl in a relationship.
Yeah. So let me summarize a little bit because I think I talked like a little bit in a circle, but I didn't prepare to answer any of this, so like I'm just kind of speaking. But it's more clear now that I've like kind of gotten to it. So first and foremost, you need to be self-reflective.
Yeah.
If you're a man that's on his own path and you're trying to do something completely new, original, you're trying to find your own way, relationships will be an incredible detriment unless you're self-reflective before entering one. Okay. You need to make sure that you are valuable enough, either now or in your mind, on the right track to becoming valuable enough. Okay. That's step one. Okay. If you can't look in the mirror and say, yes, I am either that guy now or I'm going to be that guy, I know for sure I'm going to be that guy. And you need to be brutally honest. Like, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm this self-made guy. I got nothing now, but yeah, I'm going to be this. You don't actually fucking know how. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you need a concrete plan. Like, you need to know what the fuck you're doing. You need to be, like, well aware of who you are now and who you are going to become. And until you can understand and accept that you're valuable enough for the girl, and it's all about the girl you want. You need to know the type of girl you want, and you need to accept and internalize and understand what type of value you need to bring to that type of girl. Yeah. Because you don't just get those type of girls. Exactly, like, you want a good girl, right? Yeah, yeah. Good girls don't just go for bums. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the reality is right now you kind of are a bum. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So you need to internalize, realize, okay, maybe I'm a bum now. Am I on the right track? Maybe, maybe not. If you are, then maybe you can consider pursuing a relationship. And then in that case, if you are, so there's two options there. Either you look in the mirror and you go, yeah, I'm not good enough, or I'm not on the right track yet. Mm-hmm. Forget relationships. Don't even think about it. You look in the mirror and you go, yeah, I am. Mm-hmm. I think I'm not, maybe not right now, but I do see I have this plan. I'm going to be there in 3 years. I have some goal, whatever. Then you can start to pursue women that you want. It has to be women you actually want.
Mhm.
If you go pursue women that it's like, oh yeah, she's easy to talk to, she likes me because I'm attractive, like, don't pursue those types of women. It has to be a woman you actually want. That's another thing. You need to figure out what type of woman you actually want. That's another important thing.
It's okay. You're saying like it's okay for someone like us to do it as long as we're pursue women. It's okay for us to do that.
100%, yeah.
Okay.
But you have to be very considerate of yourself, the value you have and can offer, and then you need to be very aware of the type of woman you actually want to be with, which is very hard to understand.
Yeah, because like you said before, like more often than not, the type of women that we want to be with is not like we don't provide the value for that kind of woman.
Exactly, not yet.
Yeah.
The woman you want, you actually can't attain yet.
Exactly.
So you shouldn't be looking for a relationship then yet.
Yeah.
Unless, and this is what I was about to get to, you meet a woman that is the girl you want, and you know you're not there yet, but you do think you're on the right track, but you're not there yet. And for whatever reason, this girl sees it in you. And like I said, you have to be super appreciative of this type of girl, because they're very rare. And she'll stick by you, and she'll support you, and she'll sacrifice her prime years, essentially, in finding a match. Like from, say, 25 to 28, whatever. Exactly. She'll sacrifice her literal prime to be with you while you have next to nothing, because she sees the value in you, just like you see the value in you.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that is girls will see the value in you if you see the value in you. Does that make sense? So a girl, you're never going to get that girl if you first don't self-reflect and actually see that value, the future value.
Okay.
Girls can pick up on that. Like, they know bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you truly believe you're going to be something, like you really looked in the mirror and you have this plan and you know you're going to amount to this thing and you're going to offer that value 5 years from now, they can sense that. So that's, I think, when you have the chance at least to pursue a woman you actually want.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, obviously, the easiest part of it is 5 years from now, you actually achieve it. You can go get whatever girl you want. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Once you've made it, it's irrelevant. But we're trying to talk about like before you've made it, obviously.
Like the 5 years.
That's those are my two kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, I see. That's interesting.
Is there anything you think like you disagree with?
I would just say like the simplest thing, and the thing that I've realized is like in a while we're this age, like you know, once you get into a relationship, it's like you're going to be in a especially if you get like engaged, like you're going to be like that for the rest of your life. So it's like while we're young, while we have like a lot of energy, it's like if we can devote that towards our work and towards our purpose, and like not pursue relationships, because you know that like if you can delay the gratification, that you're going to get that, you know, anyways, you know, 5 years down the line.
For sure.
Yeah. So like
for me, that's a huge part of what the woman I want is like. She has that characteristic. Like, she understands, like, my time cannot be fully devoted to her.
Yeah, like
they need to understand that.
Yeah, like a lot of women, like a lot of people, like especially like people who are like less ambitious than we are.
Yeah,
like it's like their relationships or their love life or you know finding hoes. Or
it's
whatever.
like the priority.
Yeah, it's like
number one.
It's like the main thing they do. It's like the only thing that they
exactly.
Talk about.
Like for me, like my relationship's super important. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but it's very hard for me to say it's the most important thing. Like it's not that it is or isn't. It's just there's other super important things.
Yeah,
and our relationship ultimately, honestly, if I'm being true to myself, my relationship will fall apart if I don't do the other things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly, because she's attracted to
the future. Yeah. She's attracted to the not the dream. Like I'm not selling her a dream. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but she believes in the future. Yeah. Like she believes in the process. So she's put her faith into me. Yeah. And like I have to be appreciative of that. I can't just take that as nothing. Like I need to realize if I don't actually do this, like I'm gonna lose the girl that I did actually want.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's all on you. It's all on you. You cannot start pursuing relationships as a young man. Unless, if you're an ambitious, like, self-made young man, you cannot do it until you fully look in the mirror and go, I'm ready to do this. For all the reasons I just listed.
Right.
Until then, honestly, like, we can start talking about whether or not you should be sleeping with girls and shit now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think this is a tricky one. I think there's a fine line between, like, too many and not enough. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, I think a young man does need sexual experience.
Uh-huh.
It's very important because when it's time to, like, secure the woman you want, like, you need to know what the fuck you're doing. Mm-hmm. And if you do know what you're doing and you're better than everyone else at it, it's going to make her want to be with you even more.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's very important to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You need to have experience with women. It's very important. So, I think I'm not saying you can't pursue women. You can. Not in, like, a serious way, but you need to have the mindset, if you're not pursuing a serious relationship, as, like, not I don't give a fuck, but, like, let me try to think of the right words. It's definitely not I don't give a fuck, but it's not something you can like dwell over and like invest your energy in. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like up on your phone at night like checking her Snap score or like shit like that. You can't be like checking. Did she post a story on Instagram? You can't be like your mind can't be occupied by women outside of the time you explicitly are spending with her. You know what I mean? It needs to be the time you spend with her is the time you spend with her.
Yeah.
You experiment, you develop your skills, like social skills, sexual skills, all that stuff, because they're very important. But when you leave that, you can't invest more time into it. Or else you're not going to get that important shit done.
Yeah. It's interesting because like a lot of people will say like, oh, it's not good to do that. It's not good to, be having lots of casual sex, especially because like
I don't think lots.
Yeah.
But a decent amount.
Some.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, like
some.
for example, like a lot of the most successful people, like sometimes they even say like not to do it. For example, like Hamza, he says like, "Oh, don't like, why are you doing that? Like, you shouldn't be like having sex, lots of sex."
Yeah, that's retarded. Yeah.
It's like not good. But
I mean,
he
Hamza,
himself.
You mean the league player, Hamza?
No, I mean
who's Hamza?
Hamza, like the self-improvement guy, basically.
I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch this shit. Like,
yeah.
This is another thing. Just before I forget, in being a self-made man, I think it's very important not to be too influenced by other people because you become other people.
You become them.
Yeah, so it's very important to, and this goes back to the self-reflective thing. Sorry to sidetrack, but I just thought of it now when you said it. It's all about being self-reflective and being original. Like, what do you think? What does Bishmar think? What does Augie think?
Yeah.
Not what does Hamza think. Like, it's cool. You can listen to people and, like, maybe they have interesting things to say, but it's so important to, like, what do you actually think yourself?
And that's why I kind of like him, too, because he always preached, like, the end goal is to, like, stop watching him. Or
exactly.
At least he used to preach that. I'm not sure. I feel like he kind of switched up a bit. He's like now he's like trying to sell you stuff. But
that's
the old version of him, the real self improvement. When he was on his grind, he would always be like, okay,
watch me to stop watching me.
Yeah, like watch me to stop watching me. Like eventually, you guys got to go on your own thing. You got to start. You're watching me now, but like hopefully, like 6 months from now, you're doing your own thing. You're not watching anymore.
Exactly.
You're not watching self improvement videos.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, let's go back to what we were talking about. We're talking about sleeping casually.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, one of the things is that he preaches a lot, or he doesn't preach a lot, but, like, he says, like, he makes it clear, like, don't, have lots of casual sex. There's no point to it. It's just, like, it's not going to do anything.
Highly disagree.
But,
highly disagree.
Yeah, and then, so, basically, my point is, he had lots and lots of casual sex.
So he's a hypocrite.
And, like, I feel like a lot of people are similar to that.
They do it and say don't do it.
Yeah. In a sense, I understand it because, like, sometimes I do it, or I don't. Okay, I do it. And it's like, I also feel the same way. I want to tell other people not to do it as well.
Yeah.
But it's like...
It's bullshit. It's
like,
complete bullshit.
It's like, if I didn't have it, then my brain wouldn't have been the way it is now. Like, I wouldn't have...
A huge part of becoming self-made is failure.
Yeah.
You have to fail.
And experience.
You have to experience and fail. You have to.
Yeah.
Huge part of it. Like, you need to know... Okay, say you hook up with some random person.
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest. And you wake up the next day and you're like, bro, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then how are you ever going to know?
Yeah, you're always going to be... It's always going to be in your head.
I'm like, maybe I should go fuck
maybe I should do that. Maybe
exactly.
Now it's like my mind is clear now.
Exactly.
I want these hoes.
Exactly. Experience and failure is so important.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, you experience and you fail. That's surface level, though.
Yeah.
The real learning comes from the self-reflection.
Uh-huh.
Why did I want to do that experience? Yeah. Why do I feel like I failed in it?
Okay, interesting.
That's the real value in it.
Okay.
It all comes back to the self-reflection and like really understanding why you did what you did and why you feel how you feel after you did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once you can like master, like you need to master your mind, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And once you can do that, you can do whatever the fuck you want because you're in control at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're not living like by urge. You're not living by temptation. Like everything is calculated.
Yeah. Okay. So like as a little add-on just to that same topic. So like I've heard a couple times and like maybe like one or two black pillars have also said this. Like
what's black pillars?
So black pillars.
I literally don't watch any social media.
Yeah, it's fine. So I'll just go over quickly. Black pill is basically. So do you know what red pill is? Red pill is like
I've heard red pill, blue pill, but honestly I don't know what the fuck it means.
Okay, fuck. I'm not gonna explain red pill.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's different pills and they mean something.
Yeah. So black pill basically means, like everything is about like your looks. Like everything's about your looks, and also a lot of it is, especially some of the more extreme versions of it, is like
looks as in like pure aesthetic. Like
just pure aesthetics. Like that's what the only thing that matters, or like literally like 95% of things. And then also a lot of black, the more extreme ones, they'll say like, oh, it's literally just how you're born. You can't control anything. Like it's just like your race, like your facial structures, like that determines your life.
So here's what I'll say: the younger you are, the truer that is.
Yeah.
The younger you are, the truer that is.
Yeah. And then like as you get older, you go to the gym, you like start becoming your own man and stuff. Right?
And it's not that like attractiveness goes away as people get older. Like a 30-year-old woman still finds people attractive. It's not like that. It's just the way you can become attractive becomes more in your control the older you get. But when you're younger, yes, attractiveness matters like a shitload. It's super important. But when you're young, it's like super out of your control. It's like you have these genetics you're born with. You look how you look. Can your parents even afford to send you to a gym?
Yeah.
Are they like why? Like how are you going to be born with the self motivation to go to the gym? Just naturally, you spawned on Earth and knew to go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's very rare. It takes time. That's why I say the younger you are, the truer it is. Like what you're born with matters way more when you're younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more the time passes, the less that matters.
The more it's like you play an impact.
100%.
That turns into red pill basically, where it's like. Yeah.
So what's red pill?
Red pill. It's kind of like I don't even know really that well, but it's kind of like, it's about the effort you put in, like the gym, like if you go to the gym.
Everything is. I'm a red pill guy. What's blue? What's blue pill?
Blue pill is like the fluffy like Disney stuff, like be a nice guy.
That's the gay shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of that matters at all.
Yeah, like be a nice guy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Philosophically, morality.
Most of us are
throw morality out the fucking window.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
You cannot say killing someone's bad. You can't say that.
Uh-huh.
You might feel like it is.
Yeah.
I feel like it is, but I can't tell you it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as morality objectively.
Okay.
It's all like perspective, opinion.
Yeah.
All that matters ultimately is what you do, your effort, what you accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
All of like live by these rules, like it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So fuck the blue pill.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Fuck the blue pill. Yeah.
Blue pill is stupid. Black pill is more true when you're younger, and then as you become older, you become more red pill.
Well, I think it's red pill. It's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, we got this sidetracked. There's like a black pillar, so like between black pill and red pill, like it's like a bit of gray area. There's like one YouTuber, he's right there. Mm-hmm. Basically, he talks a lot about how looks are important, but how you can like change it to become like the most important thing, and like how it drastically changes your life.
Okay.
And so like he did that, and basically my point I was trying to ask is like him and a lot of other people say for women, the idea is to like maybe get to like around 10 bodies. Or so.
Woman.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
That
10's crazy.
Really?
Like for women?
No. For guys to get to 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for guys to get to women.
The
women stay at 0.
Yeah, what the fuck? Not 0.
Yeah.
Okay, not 0. That's crazy. Too,
yeah, that's also crazy.
Like probably like 2 or 3.
Like less than 3.
Like for every. Okay. I just won't say. There's a reason. Based on your
lower
age,
is better. Lower
is objectively better.
Yeah. Of course, like maybe like 1 or something is fine. Like if it was like a relationship.
It's not necessarily a number. It's why do you have so many? That's the problem. If you were in, also it's another problem if a girl's in 10 different relationships. That's also another problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Anyways,
so back to
So yeah, what's your thoughts on like some of those guys who say like, oh, like get to 10 because that way you'll have the experience, you'll have like the knowledge, but then after that you can like kind of focus more on what you actually want to.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go get a hat and we're gonna throw a bunch of random numbers in the hat.
Yeah.
And we're gonna pick one out.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why 10? Like, it has nothing to do with 10. I think that's complete bullshit. I think, like I said, it's all about self-reflection. When you get to the point where you really feel, I've done this enough, that's when you stop.
Okay.
It's not 10, it's not 5. It could be 20, it could be 3. It's about the reflection. It's about when you come to you can't know what you should be doing until you know not what to do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my answer. It's not about a number, and it's going to be different for everyone. 10. To say 10 is like to say any number.
Like that might have worked for him, but like
it's
it could
just
be
a random
different for any of us.
It's a completely random number.
Okay.
And also, you could sleep with 10 women and get nothing out of it because you didn't do the self-reflection part.
So like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally, I'll keep coming back to it. It's all about onus on you, self-reflection. Why am I doing what am I doing? How does it make me feel? What do I actually want?
Right.
How do I accomplish it?
Yeah.
Is that literally that simple?
Yeah. Because I think the reason why they say 10 or like they say that is because a lot of us might not have a limit. For example, let's say we both had 0 bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like right now we're pretty reflective, we're pretty like confident in what we're doing and stuff. Let's say we both had 0 bodies. Like and tonight we're going out.
Okay.
I feel like we would be very intent on like finding someone. Like that would be like our mission. Like we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be like talking about anything. We would just be like, all right, let's go. Like we're gonna like go and like talk to someone.
It's either that or you're so nervous
you
can't even look a woman in the eyes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's either you're focused solely, I have to go fuck somebody.
Yeah.
Or you've never done it and you're so nervous you can't even think about doing it.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those two, I would say.
But like right now, we're like like I was saying, like we would it would have been like our goal or something. Like that would be what we were thinking about.
Yeah, I would say most people fall in that category.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But like right now, like you're engaged.
Yeah.
I don't really care about doing that right now.
Okay.
But there's a point in between where it's like, you know, it's slowly like you care, and then maybe you still care, but like you also kind of want to do other stuff. And there's like, okay, you don't really care, but you know, if it's really easy, you might do it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think the reason why they say 10 is because it
just creates an arbitrary number that forces you to stop.
It kind of like it's kind of like, okay, you go really ham for a bit, because a lot of people say like you should polarize life.
What does that mean?
So polarized life means
like to the extremes.
Yeah, you want to live to the extremes. So like maybe like for like
celibate, fuck everyone.
Yeah, like for example, like one weekend like party really hard, then work hard for like 2 months. Or like something like that. Instead of rather being like, you know, party a little bit every other weekend, like they want to like polarize it. So for 1 week party hard, then 2 months of work or something like that.
I mean that could work.
Yeah.
That could work. I don't think polarizing is necessarily good, bad, wrong, right? It could work for you. I think what matters is you don't float around. That's what I call it. When someone is lost, they're just floating. And
I feel like people who don't polarize are more likely to
float.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I see it. Because I feel like I was a floater for a while as well, in many aspects.
Yeah, everyone has. I have them too, for sure. Like I played like League of Legends, like for 12 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
Like that's not good. Like and the reason I did that is I don't know what the fuck else to do.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not about necessarily polarizing. I don't think. I think people who do polarize are more so doing what I'm about to say, and floaters are just floating and not thinking about any of it.
Yeah.
But the important thing is not to polarize or not to polarize. It's to be aware of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Plan what you're doing.
Okay.
Like, people don't plan. Like, and I really mean, like, plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, meticulously, like, fucking plan. Like, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule your life. Like, how much is this going to cost? How am I going to get this money? How much time is it going to take? Every day, how much time am I going to allocate to this? How am I going to exercise? If it's all these things you have to do in your head, I'm going to become the self-made man. I have to do this, all these things.
Yeah.
There's a million things. If I don't organize those things and make a plan, I'm just going to float.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
Okay.
It's way too much. That's why people who are really stupid become really successful sometimes. Because they don't think at all. They're not floating.
Yeah,
they just fixate on something and they just do it.
That's true.
But people who are in the middle float.
Right.
So if you don't get to that next level and really, like, for lack of better words, like, lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
Like, you really need to be super aware of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how, like, first of all, start with what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to accomplish it? How much money is it going to cost? All the factors.
Mm-hmm.
Literally make a schedule and do it. It can be a polarizing schedule. It can be a fucking black pill schedule. I don't give a fuck what schedule it is. As long as you know what the fuck you're doing, when you're doing it, and you have a plan, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you start to execute these plans, they're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about. They're going to fail. I've made hundreds of plans, and they fail every fucking time.
Yeah.
And then maybe the 101st plan, I start to see some success. Okay, this works.
Yeah.
Keep planning. Make sure you're consciously aware of what the fuck you're doing with your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about polarizing or not. I don't care. Like, yeah, I went to Thailand for 3 months. Maybe you could argue that's polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's not. I carefully planned why I'm coming to Thailand and what I got done while I was here. And I got all those things done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's just about being aware of your time and what you're doing.
Okay.
Planning. Not polarizing, planning.
Okay.
You can plan for polarization. That's cool. If that works for you. But plan.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't float.
Don't float. Yeah.
Don't float.
Yeah, I think that's the yeah. It's because I covered the reasons as to why someone might float, and you covered the reason
how to not float.
Yeah, like you covered exactly
how to not float.
Why they are floating.
Yes, yeah. They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
They're not aware of what they actually need to do.
Yeah.
And they're not actually doing it.
Yeah. So mine's like an indirect, like the polarizing, that kind of thing. It's like an indirect solution.
It's like type of what I'm saying, but it's not necessarily what I'm doing. Like you could be floating and polarizing.
It's like indirect. It's like you're attacking it from like the side, whereas you're like you're straight solving the problem like, straight on. You're analyzing it. You X-rayed the problem. You know exactly what it is, and now you like
exactly. Because to me, I could argue polarizing as a type of floating. Right? like, oh yeah, I'm just polarized.
Especially, yeah.
So I'm gonna go fuck around for a month and party, and then I'm gonna go do whatever. But you don't actually know what the whatever is. You're not actually, you're polarizing.
Yeah.
But what are you actually accomplishing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You really need to, again, self-awareness. Everything is on you. What are you actually doing?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you actually want? How do you actually accomplish it?
That's good.
And it's very hard to figure out, and it's gonna take a lot of failure. But try.
Okay.
Try to lock in. Try to make a plan. Try to stick to it. And it's super okay to fail. You're gonna fail for sure.
Okay.
I used to plan ridiculous amounts of time for going to the gym or whatever it was. I'm gonna work 14 hours a day on this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You literally can't. If you're doing something like what I'm doing, I won't say what I'm doing, but if you're doing something that's like mentally intensive, you can't work 14 hours straight. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna see what works, what doesn't work, and it's not about being like so locked in where I don't even go outside. Like, it's not that. It's just, when am I going to go outside? And is it going to be scheduled around, like, doing what I need to do? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a balance is okay. You can be super locked in, super, like, spend a shitload of time on whatever it is you're doing or not, as long as you know what you're doing and you're aware of it. That's the main thing. Just don't float.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Like 31 minutes now. So we can probably talk about, like, one more thing.
Yeah,
or maybe
pick
two more.
Pick me one or two more.
Yeah. Okay.
I can be more concise too. Like, I feel like we're like rambling a little bit. I can just be more concise.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, those are some good points, and like I feel like that last one was like really good as well. We covered like a lot. I think I learned a lot already.
If you notice, my answer to everything you've asked me fundamentally roots itself in you, yourself. Everything. It's never anyone else's fault. It's never the girl isn't the right girl for you. It's you're not the right guy for the girl you want.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't fulfill your dreams because it's too hard. There's too many things to do. Yeah. It's because you didn't think about it hard enough and you didn't come up with the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. It's always you. Mm-hmm. Everything I've said so far, that's what it is. It's always you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what you want to talk about next, but.
Okay. So let's talk quickly about like the last one I'm in with like your parents. Your parents are you know they're holding you back, or they're
immigrant parents.
The video title is like your immigrant parents are holding you back.
A little bit clickbait, obviously.
Yeah. But like like you said,
but it is true though. Yeah.
You could relate as well because your parents are were similar. You said.
I think if you are, let's just call it self-made man, because that's what we've been calling it this whole time.
Yeah.
Category A, you're self-made. Category B, you want to do what other people already do.
I think it's like sliding slowly, like getting out of flame.
Yeah. So if you are a self-made man, unless your parents are also a self-made man, woman, whatever, why the fuck would you ever listen to them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
How are you going to take advice from someone that doesn't know how to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish?
Right. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean don't listen to your parents, because they will have things to say that are valuable. But you need to be able to distinguish between when you should and should not listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to not be afraid of their backlash.
Yeah.
Like, I was just doing my PhD in physics. I graduated, you already know, but for the people who don't know, I graduated from U of T, neuroscience and physics degree. Mm-hmm. And I went and started doing my PhD in physics. I dropped out and stopped doing it. Not because it was too hard or anything like that. I was like on track to doing it. But because I realized this is not for me. I don't want to like go. When I first started doing physics, I was like, oh, I'm going to come up with my own theory of the universe. Yeah. And that'll be my self-made man story.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, okay, maybe I will do that one day, but it's not right now. Like, money is really important right now. Like, I need to like set up like a business, and then maybe I'll go do that again later.
Okay.
So, anyways, the point being, when I decided to stop doing that, my mom was like, "Are you fucking retarded?" Like, she's a professor, university professor.
Yeah.
She made her entire life off of the education system. Right. She thinks it's the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
If you don't go to school, and don't get me wrong, education is super, super important. Mm-hmm. I'm a lifelong learner. I think everyone should be a lifelong learner.
Right.
But in a school, absolutely fucking not. That's a whole nother topic. Why school is actually terrible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so moral of the story, you definitely should not be listening to your parents all the time. Mm-hmm. If they're not the type of person you want to become.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people like spend too much time listening to their parents, too much time like worrying about what their parents might say or what their parents
that's the important part. It's not necessarily you're listening to them, you're affected by what they're saying.
Yeah.
You need to literally like disconnect, like parents can be fucking mean sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, they'll tell you you're a failure, basically, like without saying it. But they're like, they're comparing you to people, and they're like, they're doing this. Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
They're essentially calling you a failure.
Yeah, yeah.
And that affects you mentally,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
If you're self-aware and you realize, yeah, you're right, Mom. I'm not like my cousin who is doing this.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like my fucking cousin doing this. It's very easy to be affected by that.
Yeah.
And like feel negative about it. But if you really think about it, she's actually complimenting you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm not like my cousin. Like, thanks for noticing.
Yeah,
like, thanks for noticing. I'm not like them, and I'm also not like you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for giving birth
That's
to me.
actually a really interesting. I think it's a really powerful reframe as well. Like, it's almost like a compliment. When they're like.
Yeah, from your perspective.
Yeah.
From their perspective, it's an insult.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what their perspective is.
Yeah.
Because why does it not matter? Because it's all about you. It's all about you.
It's all about you.
It always comes back to that.
Yeah.
It always comes back to that. Like, literally everything in life for me comes back to that.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Yeah, I don't think many people at all will ever see it like that. Like, it's a compliment. You know, if my parents are
shit on you.
Yeah, if they're like, you know, upset with what I'm doing in life, or
I mean, it depends why. If you're not a self-made man and you're not doing anything,
let's say you're playing video games.
Yeah, then they're shitting on you for a good reason.
Yeah.
But or maybe not, or maybe you're just that's your truth and you want to fucking play video games, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. Like like I said, morality for me is out the window. There is no right or wrong. But for me, if you're trying to be different, and they're comparing you to someone, and saying you're not like them, no shit. Yeah. Thanks for noticing.
Like, if they're trying to be different and they're getting mad at you for being different.
Yeah, it's like, what are we? It's like you're proving my point. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Exactly. Yeah. But in terms of like foreign versus not foreign parents, like immigrant parents,
keep sliding.
It's maybe because I'm my foot's on here. I'll take my foot off. I think it's because I'm pushing.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah. I'm trying to get myself.
Yeah. Anyways, immigrant versus not immigrant parents. I think I can't like speak personally, but from what I've observed, immigrant parents are way more like fucked in this kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like the Asian parents.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely more strict, but there are like my parents, for example, not my dad, but my mom was like pretty similar, I would say, to how your parents are. Like school is like of the utmost importance. You're not going to school. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they have an idea in their head, whatever the idea is. It doesn't have to be school, but parents often, immigrant or not, have an idea of what their kids should and shouldn't be doing.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And they can be very turbulent. Like, if they feel like you're not doing what
exactly, they try to live vicariously through you, and when it doesn't go that way, they become very like toxic at times. Yeah. And then there's another whole can of worms if like the marriage is not good and stuff, that can like affect you, and there's a whole
there's a lot of
conversations.
They have like
and,
so much trauma. And
there's so much nuance to like the way your parents influence you, from their parents, from their relationship to like literally so many things. But the beauty of it is none of it fucking matters. Yeah. Because all that matters is you.
Right.
Just think about it from your own perspective and what you're trying to accomplish. And if your parents aren't a part of your path, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. Mm-hmm. But maybe in the short term, that has to be what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to walk away from like shit that is not benefiting you. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's the same idea as like why I said you should or should not pursue relationships. Like, if you're in a relationship and it's not benefiting you towards what you're trying to accomplish, just leave the relationship. Mm-hmm. It hurts. It's going to suck, but that's the type of shit you have to do. Right. If you really want to be self-made, it's going to be hard. Yeah. And it's going to be lonely, and like nobody's going to agree with you until you're successful, and they go, oh yeah, my son's successful. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's like how it works. Yeah. Nobody can see it until it's real, but you can see it before it's real. That's the difference. Yeah, I actually have like a few other points and like things that talk about with this topic, but I feel like your reframe kind of like just makes it all irrelevant. Like, I was going to say like, oh, why do your parents keep doing this? You know, how to deal with it? Yeah, who cares? It's kind of like, who cares? Like, it's almost not necessarily like, who cares. It's like why are they doing it? It's like, okay, because you're different. Okay, that's a compliment. Yeah. So the next level that you can go past self-awareness is awareness of others. Mm-hmm. Once you start like putting yourself in other people's shoes as well, it makes so much more sense. Like, when you start to become more aware and understanding of why people are the way they are, like whether it's through their past or like whatever, however you come to this conclusion, you've interacted with them for 25 years, so you know how they are. Mm-hmm. Once you become aware of why they are the way they are, everything they say to you becomes like way more understandable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, if my dad was an alcoholic for 10 years, I understand why he's yelling at me. You know what I mean? Or like, he's like incoherent.
Yeah.
But initially, it's like, it just sucks. You don't even know what to think. It's like, why the fuck do I have an incoherent dad?
Yeah.
But it's like, eventually with time, like, you understand, like, wait, why is he drinking?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's like the next level, like, of becoming like even more,
aware.
I don't know if mature is the wrong word, but yeah, aware is a good word for it.
Okay.
Yeah, like first focus on self-awareness, and then like the next level past that is like awareness of others.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the more aware you become of others, the more you can become like in control of the way you like are affected by them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Things feel less personal, like towards you, and more personal towards them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like it's just like you're not. It's like it's like almost like you don't even like you're not even surprised by anything. It's like
it just makes sense.
Yeah, it just
like
makes
you
sense.
know why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
it fits.
It fits.
It's not even necessarily about you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like they're just like humans are creatures of habit, especially people who aren't self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are creatures of habit, like through and through.
Mm-hmm.
So if your dad, for lack of a better example, if your dad yells at you all the time, he's just gonna keep yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't self-reflect and be like, wait, why the fuck am I yelling?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he's just gonna keep yelling.
Yeah.
Humans are creatures of habit, so it's the same idea as floating. Like your dad yelling at you, he's just floating.
He's just floating.
He's just floating. It's the same thing.
Right.
So tying it back into why would you want to take advice from somebody who's just floating?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had like a few questions and follow-ups, but I feel like with the way you've answered the first question, it kind of like
Shoots down all the other
questions. It kind of like knocks everything down, to be honest.
I see.
Yeah.
You want to think of maybe one more thing to talk about?
Yeah. So like, definitely one more thing. So
whatever you want. It can be something lighter. It
Yeah.
can be like whatever.
It'll be a little bit lighter. So like, I would say like the last thing that we can talk about is kind of like, so as people who we are right now, let's say like we're like we're trying to be like self-made people. But right now we're like our value is very low. Like we don't have much to show for ourselves or anything like that, right? So what would you say? Like how would you say like you stay motivated to continue down this path, to continue doing the things that we're doing right now versus like, you know, for example, think about how easy it would be if you were just work your job, or if you were to just go to your PhD, you only have like maybe one more year left, and then you have your whole PhD.
And then I have like a job. I'm a professor.
Yeah, compared to living a regular life, being a normal person, you know, it's very much
it's hard to stay on your own path.
Yeah.
Like
their lives are right now at this moment are much easier compared to our lives. So like, what would you say? Like, here's motivated.
Why is their life easier? You tell me why you think their life is easier.
Just because I feel like their life is easier, just because like they've kind of like hashed out their value. Like they're maximizing what they're like basically they're sacrificing all their potential to like acquire value now.
Okay, but are they even aware of that? No, right? No, probably not.
No. Like I think maybe some of them, but most of them are not.
So here's my answer. Because their life was planned for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to follow a plan that was made for you.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody already made it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to just do what people tell you. Oh yeah, go to school, get this job. It's a pre-made plan.
Right.
It's very hard to make your own plan.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to make your own plan. So you said, how do I stay motivated? I don't. It's not about motivation. There's so many days I wake up and I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about being motivated. It's about sticking to your plan.
Okay.
Just like the people who are doing whatever are sticking to their plan. It's not their plan.
Yeah.
Someone else's plan.
Right, yeah.
They're a self-made man.
I'm sure they
The
don't.
guy who made the plan for all the people who don't make plans, that's a plan.
Yeah.
That's the guy in charge of the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm sure like a lot of the regular people, like they wake up, they don't want to go to work or whatever, but they still do it because
it's a plan.
It's someone else's plan.
Exactly. It's someone else's plan. So, how do you stick to your own plan? Just fucking do it. Just like everyone else does.
Right.
Why do you need to be motivated? People aren't motivated to go to work, like you said.
Yeah.
But what do? They go to work.
They go to work, yeah.
So go to fucking work.
Every day,
What's the difference?
They can't be late. They can't do anything, make excuses, right? So,
because someone else's plan told them to.
Yeah.
So why are you going to listen to some other guy's plan and not your own fucking plan?
Exactly.
But first of all, make your plan.
Okay.
Make your plan. Understand what you actually want to accomplish and meticulously break it down and stick to that plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. So have a plan.
Have a plan. Not a plan. A plan. Have a plan. Like a real plan.
Yeah.
An actual plan that is written on a piece of paper.
The plan,
like the fucking plan that says exactly like task lists. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1, I gotta do this shit. To do this shit, this is my schedule for this month. I'm gonna do this shit, only the things on my task list every day. If it's not on this task list, I'm not doing it. I check everything off on phase 1. Now I go to phase 2. What are all the tasks on phase 2 I have to do? Keep doing that.
Okay.
And you're going to fail along the way, and you might realize, wait, how I could do phase 2 a little earlier. Maybe I don't have to do all these things on the checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So you reevaluate. Make a new plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying your plan has to be, like, written in stone,
mm-hmm.
but you have to have one.
You just have to have one. So
you have to have one.
To follow it.
Follow the plan. Make a plan, follow the plan.
You have direction.
Just like everyone else does. Follow the plan.
Okay.
Stop floating.
Stop
floating.
Yeah. Okay.
Even self-made men float all the time. That's why they fail.
Right.
They're just floating.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people who float, that follow other people's plan, they still get money.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to follow someone else's plan.
They're following the plan. They're at least providing some value.
Exactly.
Because they're following someone else's plan.
It's like here.
Yeah.
Whereas your plan could maybe bring you this value.
Like
but
literally.
You can't even see it on the screen.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a plan, you're stuck below them.
Yeah.
You're worse than them.
Right.
So you gotta have a plan. You can think you're gonna be self-made all you want, but if you don't actually know what you're doing and how you're gonna do it, you're just floating.
Okay.
Stop floating.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me think of one question I can ask you.
Okay, sure.
We can just edit it like until I think we can like cut
I'm
back.
definitely gonna edit like a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a lot, but like maybe some. Maybe like the black pill shit. I might edit that out.
Okay. Let me think.
Yeah, give me like one
Okay,
question.
I got it. I got one. Okay, so my question for you: why did you come to Thailand?
Why did I come to Thailand?
Yeah. Well, before you answer though, I want you to give me the answer you would have given me before you left.
Before I left,
yeah,
I would say I'm coming to Thailand because it's a great place for a self-made person to live and do their work. And so I'm going to Thailand to go and check it out and see the different places to find a place that I may want to live in the future.
Okay, so my follow-up question is, that's a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
Would you say, now that we've had this conversation, your reasoning for coming here was meticulously planned enough?
I would say meticulously planned enough.
Yeah, did you actually accomplish what you thought you were going to accomplish here? Or honestly, do you think you fell short a little bit?
I did not accomplish what I thought I was going to accomplish when I came here.
There you go. And do you know why that is?
No plan?
You didn't actually make a plan. You had it in your head.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all this. You didn't actually do it.
Like,
you didn't wake up every day and do the things you thought in your head that you were going to actually do. Because there was no physical plan.
Okay.
The mental plan is so much weaker than the physical plan. Mm-hmm. You have to write this shit down and make it real and do it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that's an important thing to realize, like, even for yourself. Like, you came to Thailand, probably before this conversation, would you say, oh, yeah, it was an excellent, like, I got, like, so much shit done? Like,
I think, even, like, I thought about this to myself, honestly. I was like...
That's really good.
Yeah. Like, I was like, no, I definitely did not get a lot of the work down. Mm-hmm. I got, there was just so many distractions.
Exactly.
And, like,
so hard.
There's, like, so many women. There's,
it's so hard
everything's
without a
very
plan.
cheap.
It's so
very
hard.
Nice weather.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, I was saying all these things, and I was like, yeah, like... But as the time went on, like, the amount of work I did scale. Like, in Chiang Mai, near the start, I was, like, barely doing anything. Then we go into the second month. I'm starting to, like, drop some videos. I'm starting my YouTube channel.
It was like you half did what you thought you were going to do.
Yeah. Now it's, like,
exactly.
I'm more into the thing. Like, I think in Samui, if it wasn't for, like, a few of the distractions, like, I might have been, like, very consistent.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, that's another excuse. There's always a distraction.
Right.
You just have to...
Just do it. Make a plan and follow the plan.
I think the way I would cope with it is just saying, like, it was part of my path.
Part of the experience. Yeah, I had to do this.
Like, yeah. Like, I
and that's fine. It could be a part of your path. But what you should have done is planned before you came. Yeah, I'm going to go see women and shit. Like, it should have been a part of the plan.
Like, maybe, like, 1 month and then...
Yeah, whatever.
2 months, like,
whatever the fuck it is. Whatever way you decide to schedule it, you need to at least be aware of the fact you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Like, schedule this shit. You know
Instead
what I mean?
of, like, floating, basically.
Yeah, like, I would argue you were kind of floating here.
Yeah,
like, you did definitely, like, progress towards what you were trying to accomplish. Yeah. Like, for sure.
Especially in the later months.
Yeah, like, for sure. But that doesn't mean it couldn't have been, like, way fucking better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can be floating and still get some shit done.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're, like, actually doing what you have to do. Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm not talking out of my ass. Like, I could go show you right now. I have, like, plans written down. Like I could show you pages of this shit, like
and
checklists.
And I've seen them too. Like I've seen at least some of them. Like you've shown me like the pages and pages of
Like I have like
diagrams and all of that.
Like meticulous checklists, like phases, like the amount of time I'm expecting it to take, like very like carefully thought out, and it's never gonna go according to that plan, never, and I know that, but I make them anyways, and I try to do it, and I follow the plan, and when it fails, I just keep going.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, maybe I was off by a week.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like make the adjustment. Just keep like the strong mindset. Keep like a positive mindset. Yeah. And like just make the adjustments and like.
Yeah. So I would definitely say you're on like the right path for sure.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I would say I was more where you were, like about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
In terms of like
the floating versus like actually.
Oh, okay.
Like I knew I wanted to be this type of person, but I wasn't actually really doing it yet.
Okay.
My advice to you: be more self-reflective. I think you're already very self-reflective, but you can do more for sure. Be more self-reflective and make a plan.
Make a plan.
Like really make a plan. Like not like some bullshit. Like the plans I make, like I sit down for 3 days. Like 8 hours, 3 days, and make up like a real plan.
Yeah.
That 3 days of planning sets me up for my next 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's worth it.
Exactly.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I think on surface level, a lot of people will hear that and they'll be like,
oh, I'm not gonna.
There's no way that planning something for 3 days is ever going to be worth it, or like self-reflecting is ever going to be worth it if you're doing that for 3 days.
And the funny thing is they've never done it, so how the fuck do they know?
Yeah.
And that's why.
And the funny thing, if you told them to do work on their own, for like, let's say they have to do like something on their own by themselves, like a self project, and you told them and you put them to work for 2 months, they wouldn't do anything.
No, yeah, they do fuck all. Yeah. No, I know. And like I said, don't concern yourself with people who are not people you should be taking advice from. Like it's literally that simple. If someone is not like on the same type of trajectory as you, it's not even worth listening to them. It's irrelevant. Like let them think whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, my plan idea is terrible. Okay, don't do it. Like I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But if you respect what I'm saying, you think it makes sense, and you feel like we're on a similar path, try it. Just try it. If it doesn't work, try it again. Try it a few times. Keep trying it. Yeah, right. But yeah, like you said, planning, like it sounds crazy on paper. Oh yeah, I'm going to plan for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like how many people other than me could you say have sat down and made a plan that took them 3 days to make? It's probably zero.
Yeah, I can't think of
zero people
who do that.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone.
Yeah.
But literally the plan I have right now that I've been following it. The plan I'm on right now that took me like probably about 3 days to make is a literal 2-year plan. Okay. Well, a 100-week plan actually.
Okay. And
and I check off every week as I check the weeks.
Okay, so
I accomplished this week. I keep track of it to make sure I'm following the plan.
You have it, like I was going to ask you, like how precise do you have? So you have basically every week, basically.
It's like not so meticulous where it's like minute by minute necessarily, but it's like every week I check in. Did I do the shit I said I was going to do?
Okay.
Like like literally down to the financials. Yeah. Like this is how much my groceries are going to cost. This is how much my gym membership is going to cost. I have to get a computer for my business. How am I going to afford all of this shit? Yeah. I'm going to get a job with this amount of income. This division of income is going to go to this. Every week I'm going to contribute that exact amount. Do that. This is the amount of hours I'm going to work on this. These are the tasks I have to accomplish to get my business up and running. Yeah. And I just do them.
Yeah.
And that's literally it.
And I would say, like, if that 2-year plan leads to your final goal and you're staying consistent and you can see, like, you're being consistent, right? I would say that success is, like, not only likely, but it's like, inevitable.
It's literally inevitable.
Yeah. Like,
if the plan leads to success. Yeah. If you look at the plan and go, this leads to success. Yeah. And you do the plan, do you become successful?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's literally that simple. Yeah, as long as your plan leads to success and you follow the plan, you will be successful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a great thing. I'm going to start to plan, I think, a bit more.
Yeah. Plan. I'm telling you, try it. Implement those. You don't have to start as crazy as I am because I didn't start this crazy.
Yeah, of course I gotta level
up
to that point.
You gotta learn, like
maybe just start like planning like the weeks, like planning the days, like each day of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like have a schedule, a weekly schedule that you can follow.
For me, that's how it started. It started with weekly schedules in school. Yeah. I actually started this type of thing in school.
Okay.
I had my classes. I had when I'm going to study each subject for each class. I stuck to it.
Yeah.
Hour by hour. When the hour ends, I go study the next subject. Doesn't matter if I feel like I'm done with it or not. Yeah. I stick to the plan.
Right.
And I got incredibly good grades sticking to that plan. Right. And there was many times where say I scheduled 2 hours to study this subject. 2 hours are up, and I'm like, oh, I got to study more. But I didn't. I didn't study the next thing, and it turns out my plan was good and it worked. So trust the plan. Like, there's a reason you came up with the plan.
Right.
You thought it would lead to success. So why the fuck are you doubting it? You know what I mean? Just do it.
Yeah.
You planned it. You thought it was going to work, so just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So two, just I guess we can end it here.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, you heard it. You heard it straight. So have a plan.
Before the plan, self-onus.
Self-reflect.
Yeah, self-reflect.
Extremely self-reflect.
You cannot have a plan until you're self-reflective. Start there.
So what would you say would be a good place to start being self-reflective?
Any situation you're in.
Like journaling or what?
Yeah, whatever works for you.
Okay.
For me, my brain just I can talk to myself, so I don't need to write it down.
Just be honest with yourself. Basically.
Yeah, you really got to be honest.
Just look at a situation and be like, am I doing the right thing? Is this what I wanted? That kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to be brutally honest. It's so easy to convince yourself you're doing well. It's so easy. Or to cut yourself some slack.
Okay.
You need to be brutally honest, which is hard to do, and I think the way you get there is just, I don't know, that's tough. How do you get there? How do you become brutally honest with yourself?
Just do it.
Honestly, no, that's a bad answer. Let me try to think, actually, how you... Maybe I need some alcohol wisdom.
Exactly. I think you do, yeah. You know what actually helps? It gets rid of a lot of the extra stuff. A lot of times we would overthink things.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
And coders use it a lot.
Alcohol?
Yeah.
It's to just dumb it down a little bit, keep it simple.
Yeah, because
that's another piece of advice. Keep shit simple.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these plans that are complicated, but really, if you look at it, it's all really simple shit. But it's a lot of simple shit. You know what I mean? Nothing needs to be super complicated. In fact, it should not be super complicated. It should be incredibly simple. Simplify the shit out of everything. That's what the best people, most successful people, take complex things and make them simple. Yeah. That's the most important skill.
That's why you were saying earlier, you were saying like stupid people sometimes become very successful.
Exactly, because they keep it simple.
They just,
They naturally keep things simple because they're not that smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you become self-aware? Honestly, man, that's tough. I don't know if I have any advice to how to become self-aware. I think just keep trying.
Just keep doing it. Just do your best, basically.
Just do your best.
It'll level up, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it just levels up with time. Yeah. Honestly, I think, if you're more intelligent, you'll probably pick it up faster, which is something you can't really control. Yeah. But
just be brutally honest.
Just be brutally honest and keep doing it.
Yeah.
You'll know. You actually, one thing that could maybe be good is, assess a situation about yourself, right? Write down, the outcome you think will happen. And then when the comes time and the outcome actually happens, match with what happened in real life versus what you wrote down and see if it lines up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, say you're reflecting on, I don't know, it doesn't fucking matter what it is, but you're reflecting on it, you're trying to assess, let's say it's a school course. I think I'm going to get an 80% on this midterm. You get your, because of the amount you studied. I studied pretty hard, I'm going to get an 80. That's what I think. That's your honest thing, right? Then you get your mark back and you get a 70. Well, maybe you're not that honest with yourself. You know what I mean? So compare your honesty with the reality.
With reality.
Yeah. And then you can kind of hone in on how accurate you're being with your honesty. And then, like you said, just level up, I think. Yeah. But if I had to give a real exercise to do, that's all I can think of right now. Compare your honesty with reality and just see how they line up.
Right.
Yeah. I think making things tangible is really important.
What do you mean?
It's one thing to just be oh yeah, I'm thinking about my level of honesty and self-reflection. Oh. And then it's not real. It's just in your head. It's just floating, you know? Yeah. Making things tangible and reflecting is really important to me.
Okay.
Because you can keep track of things objectively.
Yeah. Maybe say one thing you could have done better each time you're reflecting on something like that.
Yeah. Even if you don't get it perfect, just one thing at a time.
What is one thing I could have done better in this situation?
There you go. Yeah. Just try to put everything in your own. Try to put things on yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Start there. All right. Anything else? Wrap up?
All right. Let me try to summarize because you did most of the talking. So let me try to summarize most of your points.
Oh yeah.
So be really self-aware. Be really self-reflective. Be brutally honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. That would be one of the main things
of utmost importance.
Yeah, of most importance.
And before you're in, and if you can't do that, don't pursue relationships. Don't do any of the shit we talked about. Don't try to make a plan. Don't do any of it.
Yeah.
Focus on being self-aware before you do any of this.
Know what you really want. Know what you're really motivated
exactly,
to do. That kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Number 2 would be don't float. Don't be a floater. Understand once you achieve that self-awareness, be really reflective of the things you want in life, and what you be really honest with yourself. Like, what am I doing and why am I doing that? That kind of thing. Have a plan.
Am I floating?
Yeah. Am I floating?
Am I floating, or am I following a plan?
Yeah.
I think a good way to frame it is floaters follow someone else's plan.
Yeah.
You follow your own plan.
You follow your own plan.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So we did those two. When it comes to parents, I think what you said was really powerful. Like with the reframing, you don't need to. If your parents are feeling really insulting, if they feel really bad, or if they are making they're trying to make you feel bad, you don't need to feel bad yourself. You can actually choose how you feel. You can reframe what you're saying as a compliment. If you're being different and they're mad at you for being different, that should be a compliment to you. You're trying to be different.
Exactly.
Okay.
Very well said.
That was a very good point that you brought up, because it kind of killed a lot of the follow-up questions too. Like, oh my God, what if they still feel like this, or what if they're still saying this?
Yeah, it's all irrelevant.
Yeah, it's all irrelevant. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, so that was 3.
You can touch on the relationship stuff quickly.
Yeah. So with the relationship stuff, again, it was still following the self-awareness and the plan.
Yeah. So this one, I'll just summarize quickly one more time because I have it pretty concisely now.
Yeah.
So 1. First of all, be aware if you are valuable enough or think you're on track to become valuable enough for the woman you want.
Mm-hmm.
So understand the woman you want, and then understand if you're valuable enough or on track. That's step 1.
Mm-hmm.
Step 2, you meet a woman that either is or is not willing to wait by your side in the process of you becoming valuable enough.
Mm-hmm.
If she chooses to say no, that means you're just not valuable enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. And then in that case, don't pursue a relationship. That's
right.
it.
Right.
Period.
Right. Yeah. And the way we frame that is
we got a mountain dog in here.
You're covering the camera. Yeah, there you go. Yo, hello doggy. Please don't eat me.
Okay. Anyways.
Oh, he's coming. Okay, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
He doesn't like me.
No, he won't. It's true.
You gotta
You gotta take off your shoe and then chase him.
Anyways, just ignore it.
Like cross-eyed. No, if he gets closer, I'm staring at him.
Okay, go. Run up on man.
No, I don't want to start that.
Oh, he's looking for food and water.
He wants water.
Yeah, he's good. He knows it rains here or something.
There's a water bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's chilling.
All right, so relationships, we covered when you should and should not be in a relationship.
So, and anyways, the last part, just to add on to the last thing that we said was, again, it's another reframe where it's instead of being oh, I can't, or
the
this
girl's not the right girl.
Yeah,
it's you're not good enough for the girl.
I'm not good enough for the girl.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough for the girl.
Exactly.
At least not the girl that I want.
There, the girl you want. That's the key. And understanding the girl you want is a very important question to answer. Because it's probably not actually this is an important topic. Actually, you want to talk about it quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
If you have anything to add.
Yeah. So the girl I want is not the most attractive girl.
She's upstairs.
Yeah, she's upstairs. Her name's Lauren. Shout out Lauren. She's not necessarily the most attractive girl in the world. I think she's beautiful, obviously. But maybe objectively, if you lined her up in a room of fucking 100 supermodels, people will go, yeah, she's not the most attractive girl. So for me, being the most attractive woman is not of utmost importance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily, you don't look for looks. You have to be attracted to them, but you don't have to think they're the best looking person in the world. You're allowed to look at another woman and go, that woman's really good looking.
Okay.
That's totally fine. She doesn't have to be number 1 attractive. Number 2, super, super important, she has to respect you. She really has to be, she has to have a level of awareness to be able to put herself in your shoes. You know what I mean? You know how I talked about self-awareness and then awareness of other people? She needs to have that awareness of other people. Super, super important to me.
Okay.
And then another thing I think is not necessarily super important in terms of should I be pursuing this woman? If you meet her right away and you don't like her that much necessarily, I don't think that means you shouldn't pursue her at all. I don't think you have to love at first sight.
Okay.
For me, brutally honestly, she knows this, we both know it. When we first met, I did not like her, I wasn't crazy about her. You know what I mean? And I think that's totally fine. I don't think you have to necessarily meet someone and right away know. So those are 3 just important things to think about, because I think it kind of goes against what most people think. Oh, you should think the woman you're with is the most beautiful woman alive, and when you meet them, you should fall in love instantly, and this type of shit. I think it's all completely bullshit.
Okay.
Just to add on. So, anyways.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover, I'd say.
Yeah, is there any final summary thing we talked about?
Just the plan. That was the last thing we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
The self-awareness and plan. And then we covered the reframing with the parents, and we covered the reframing with the relationships.
Yeah.
And then...
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the best way to say it. Don't look for the perfect girl. Don't look for the perfect girl. The girl you want is not necessarily the perfect girl. So in understanding the girl you want, try to look at women as, like, it's okay for them to not be perfect. The girl you want will not be perfect. Trust me. There is no such thing. If you think the girl you want is perfect, you're looking for a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to look for the perfect woman.
Okay.
Understand what you actually want. It's really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm thinking, but...
I think we covered most of it.
Yeah. So,
I'm trying to remember if there's anything else we talked about. Like major things, but I don't think there was really anything else. Talked about the pills.
yeah, I'm at the...
We basically said black pill is true when you're young.
Yeah.
Like attractiveness is more important.
Red
like
pill is the most...
yeah, it becomes a more red pill like as you get older.
Yeah.
But the pills is just like whatever. Like it's kind of doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
okay, yeah. I'll ask one more question about your relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, from an outsider point of view, the way I see it is like your relationship with Lauren was like the first, girl that you were with after you were in a really long relationship with someone else.
Yeah.
So like, what would you say, to someone who's like, you kind of have like one-itis, or like, do you know what one-itis is? Like you
dated one girl.
Yeah,
you don't know what else.
You kind of just like fall in love, like because like you kind of feel like you're just like a really feeling kind of person. You just really feel the love.
Yeah, that didn't happen at all for me. I was definitely not one-itis. So the first girl I was with,
or like obviously because one-itis would have been you.
The first one.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Like, what would you say like someone who's like you're really like emotional or like you're a really feeling person? So like they're trying to say like you didn't make a logical decision, that kind of thing.
They're saying I was emotional?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shoot that down.
Yeah.
10 million fold. Okay, so my very first relationship was the most emotional relationship for sure. Like the initial emotion, the lasting emotion, like it lasted super long, like super in love, like a high school sweetheart, like type thing you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
But the relationship ultimately ended up failing because I stopped liking her.
Uh-huh.
That's why it failed.
Yeah.
So the emotion that I started the relationship with, the reason I entered the relationship was the reason the relationship failed. So in entering the relationship from an emotional perspective is the reason it failed.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at that relationship and said, how do I never do this again? Well, don't enter a relationship based on emotion. Mm-hmm. Enter a relationship based on what does this person actually not offer, but like what values does this person have?
Yeah.
Why do I actually want to be with
basically
them?
Logic.
Yeah, logic. Yeah. Like this relationship, like I said before, I started not even that interested in her romantically, but I realized there was something like she was super artistic. I was like interested in that. She had like this like warm kind of like nature, you know what I mean? Like motherly almost, you know what I mean? So that like started to draw me towards her a little bit more. And then with time, as time went on, I started to realize more and more things about her.
Yeah.
Aside from the emotion, like value, characteristics about her that made me want to like be with her, like logical reasons. So I would say the reason I got engaged is entirely not emotional. Actually, when I proposed to her, the first words that came out of my mouth was, I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't think this is some magical fairy tale love, but I still am choosing you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, and that like entirely emphasizes how my entire like relationship was like logic based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, forget all of the fancy magic shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I'm not even saying I don't feel that type of way.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm choosing her has nothing to do with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, don't enter relationships based on emotion, because when that emotion goes away, and they will, your relationship will fail.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Whether it's from the girl's side or your side.
Okay.
If you're with someone because it feels good, well, it's gonna feel bad one day. Trust me. It's not always perfect.
And the longer you wait on that, the more it's gonna feel bad.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're with someone because maybe it doesn't feel good every day, but hey, you have all your XYZ reasons for why you're with them.
Mhm.
When those days come that you feel bad, you still have those XYZs. You know what I mean? There's still a reason you're with them.
Mhm.
So it's like this. The emotion's like this.
Mhm.
The logic is like this.
Right. Follow the logic.
Not even just logic. I guess is a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah, like, I don't know, and that's why I said I have like very polarizing opinions on like marriage and stuff like that. Like everything I've ever been told about marriage is like you're just gonna know, you're gonna meet her, and she's gonna be the one. You're just gonna feel magical.
Yeah.
I think it's complete horseshit.
Yeah.
Like literally complete horseshit.
Yeah.
You can meet someone and it will feel good like that, but that's not a reason to marry them
Mhm.
at all, in my opinion,
Okay.
because the day's gonna come where that stops.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you meet someone and feel like that, and you have all the other XYZ things, well, lucky you.
Yeah.
Like, lucky you. But that's incredibly rare, I think.
Right.
So,
I hear
and
you.
even in that case, you wouldn't be getting married for the emotion. It would be all the other stuff. It's just like a bonus, you know?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, that's my final take on, like, long-term relationships, like, in what you should be looking for.
Right.
Forget the feeling. Like, not forget the feeling. It's still
Right.
important,
Yeah.
but don't let that be your reason. Because, like I said, my last relationship failed because that was my reason.
Right.
Yeah. Like, outside of the way I felt about her, like,
There was nothing else.
there was the kind of, not necessarily nothing else, but
yeah.
our values, like, weren't necessarily, like,
aligned.
Yeah. So,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think that's basically our last question. I think that wraps up the video too.
yeah, I think it's a good way to end it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we at?
We're like over an hour.
111.
Yeah. Like fucking
Like,
zombies.
literally universe
Yeah.
speaking to us.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good time to end it. 111.
Yeah.
But
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. We
Thanks
gotta go
for
shoot a
having-
music video.
Yeah, thanks for having me
Thanks
on.
for coming on.
Yeah.
We're probably going to maybe we can do this again one day. I think there's a lot of value in it.
Yeah.
I
There'll
mean,
be another chapter to
Okay.
this, like, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe back in Canada or some shit.
Yeah, maybe a year from now or something. Like, who
Yeah.
knows? We'll see.
There's a lot of value though.
Yeah.
So anyways. Thanks guys.
Yeah.
Peace.